could dive deep into it or not, and you don't. We're happy.
But nobody can ever take away your love and your wisdom.
Hey guys!
There's a
Hello, welcome back to the Dr. Jim and Jody show.
I'm Jody. Hi.
So we're talking about, this is kind of a loaded conversation. So we're talking about different points of view and then people sharing that point of view or their point of view with you and how to take it. So we were talking about the way things that people should say things or not say things. Because I think we've both gotten critiqued on things that we say or the way we say them on film and video. And then it's like, and you shouldn't say that, or you shouldn't say it like that. So
Instead
then I'm
of
like,
saying you may want to, it was I should.
well, then it's like, so what?
Yeah.
So what am I supposed to say? Well, I don't know. Not like that. I was like, but that's how I talk. I'm not like, that's just me that's just me being me. So if you don't want me to be me, then what do you want me to do?
Yeah. The polished version. Get the polished version of you.
Oh man.
That's interesting.
It is, because I know I battle with that sometimes, and we were just speaking this earlier, was when we have somebody, whether it be, especially friends and family, right? So we feel that we're...
Can I interrupt you on this friends and family though? Because there's friends and family and we love them, but then there's our circle that we're involved with a lot.
Right.
So that's even a little bit more personal.
Got it.
Yeah.
So you have like your blood,
Yeah.
and then you've got your friends, family.
Yeah.
So there's many times, especially I know that you look across the space and you can see somebody doing something that maybe you don't necessarily disagree with, or that person has shared with you a route or a path they're on, and we can see them not following that path, or what we feel is they're not following that path based on what they've said. And then the challenge of opening up that conversation in a way to figure out what's going on rather than trying to jump in and correct it or fix it.
Right.
And I think that's a big one. This is a good topic.
It is.
So how do we do that?
Well, before the camera started rolling,
Yeah.
I had brought up a subject to Jim about someone who is very opinionated and love this person, but there's no changing their mind, and you should do this, and you this, and you this, and you, and okay, and you came back perfectly with, are you complete? Are you done? Okay, where's that coming from? Why do you think that?
Right.
And that really starts peeling away the layers. And sometimes people just love to be fixers, and that's their role, and that's cool. But that doesn't mean that their opinion is your truth.
Right.
Yeah.
So you can, again, going back to that, we can disagree and still open up. But sometimes there's a lot to learn if we can figure out where that person's coming from, rather than trying to either argue or just neglect completely what they're saying. So a lot of times when people are coming, or if we feel that we're being attacked, or if we feel that people are offering up advice, especially when it's not been asked for, that it's a great opportunity to really seek and ask, where's that coming from? Number one, to make sure that the person gets complete with whatever they're sharing. So that's where that was coming from. Is okay, is there anything else? I love asking that with people. Like, is there anything else? Are you complete? Those are things, because a lot of times it gets them to think like, okay, no, I'm not. And then as long as we just keep our mouth shut and allow them to share, now we really get the point of view of where they're coming from. And then we just open up that dialogue and ask them, okay, when you say this, where are you coming from? What do you mean by that? What's your objective here? What are you trying to accomplish by stating that to me?
And why do you feel that you need to fix me?
Right.
Yeah. Like,
Even if that's what they're doing.
Or they don't even know they're
They
doing
may
it.
not know that.
Right.
Because I know there's sometimes that like I'll get caught in that conversation, so I'll just call myself out on it, where I'm offering up advice that sometimes wasn't asked for, it's just unwarranted. And then they'll ask and they'll be like, so what's your purpose here? Like, or what's your objective? Or why are you asking me? And then I'll sit there and look and I'll be like, I think I was just talking to hear myself speak.
Right.
To be honest.
Yeah.
Because I'm opinionated, I think I'm right, and I'm just talking BS, and I'm just throwing up all over you. Yeah. And sometimes that question will reel me back in, and I'll be like, oh, you're absolutely right. There's, I apologize for that, whatever, and then it can open that up.
One thing that I do all the time, and I found is very, very effective is, are you just venting, or would you like my opinion?
Right.
And then that opens up, and there's been times where people have been like, I don't want your opinion, I just want to vent. Okay, I'll just be your sounding board. So, and then the other thing on that is, if you want my opinion, and especially with what we do for a living, this is kind of our job. So if you want my opinion, are you going to follow through on my opinion? Right. And let's sit down and figure out a path to do that, or sometimes I just want to verbally vomit on you, and that's okay too, yeah.
I've got a buddy that is my best friend from California, and he'll call, and sometimes when he calls, he that's what he wants to do is just vent. He could be so aggressive with it that sometimes, and very emotional around it when he's venting, and then over here after a few minutes, it's like it goes from listening to be like, okay, I need to jump in and like be there and like be there for him in some supportive role, and maybe help coach this. Why are you so angry? What's going on? And every time he'll be like, dude, I know what's going on. I'm just venting towards you. Dude, just shut up and let me talk. And I'm like, yeah, but it's been like 15 minutes you've been rattling on.
Right, it's true.
But it's every time so it's like, it always puts myself back in check whenever, that I've done it enough times now, that a good lesson for me is I'm always trying to, like, I have to ask. I always want to seek to understand before being understood. Yeah. It doesn't always work that way, but it's always there. It's like, okay, is there a reason? Why are you saying this? Where's that coming from? Or are you just puking out the mouth?
And then the other aspect of that too is, okay, I know that this is what you said, but this is what I heard. Because sometimes when things come out of people's mouth, they're like, oh gosh, no, that's not even what I meant. Right. It just, it just starts coming out. And then afterwards, I always like you have your conversation and then you let it go for about 10, 15 minutes, and then you call back and you'll say, are you complete? Like, is there anything else? So then you're doing that follow-up, letting them know that they're loved, they're supported, but you don't have to go into the whole conversation again. Just, are you complete? Is there, because sometimes when you hang up the phone, then you're like, oh yeah, so just, because sometimes we get off on this subject, and then that's not even really, that was just a part of the layer that needed to be peeled away to get to the root of really what was bothering you.
How do you open up to have that conversation if it's just something that you're just not wanting to listen to or to hold that conversation?
Ooh.
Like it's just, it's not the right place, not the right time. Because I know a lot of times if we're already in that space, then we can lash back out, or we do lash back out, and now it starts an argument rather than trying to be, just share that you're not there, or you're not willing to listen at the moment. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a hard
one.
one.
Anything with that?
Yeah. Well, you have to ask. One of the things that I do like when people say to me is, are you free? Do you have time to talk to me right now? Because a lot of times I'm multitasking. Right. So, and I get told that I'm so warm and fuzzy, but when I text, I'm not, and it comes off a whole different aspect. And that's not it. I'm probably in the middle of something. So do that human, once again, we're going back to that human conversation, not just texting or something, FaceTime with each other, so then you can read each other's energy and see what's going on with each other. And if it's a conversation that it's really difficult to have, that's where your growth happens. So have it.
Difficult conversations.
Yeah.
It's a good book. Yeah, I think that's, I know for myself, leading into the conversation, that's one thing that I like to do is ask, is this a good time, or do you have a moment? And then kind of like pre-framing where the share is. So I'm upset, or I have a question, or something you said, or this is what I was thinking. You know, I'd like your opinion. So I try to pre-frame it in the context where the other person knows where it's coming from.
And it's going to need some of your time and your attention.
The challenge with it is on the other side, and this is where judgment comes in, right? It's like, you know, sometimes people are just attacking or coming at you, and you're not in the space to hear it. So it's like, how do you ward that off? Especially if you could tell that that person's on it, you know, whatever it is. Emotionally, you could tell something happened, or they're just not being normal, but they're taking it out on you. So how do you
Do you
approach
want my
that
professional opinion, or do you want my personal opinion?
Like, get out of my face now.
This would be a good time for you to leave.
Yes. Maybe that's what it is.
Right, that's my personal
Yeah.
one on that, because I'm the type of person that just give me a couple days, you know, let me process it, let it slow down, and just give me some space, you know, because a lot of times when you're in there and you're upset about something, you go into the flight or fight,
Right.
and that's not healthy for anybody. My professional opinion is this a good time? You know what, why don't we just take a 5-minute break and go for a walk, come back to it,
Yeah.
you know, so then, because taking that break, breathe, just breathe, makes a big difference, yeah.
Yeah, it reminds me of a question that is great to ask in the moments of, you know, any type of heated argument or an escalated conversation where it's at a standstill. I think being emotional and intense doesn't necessarily make the conversation wrong.
Right.
Right. So
Right.
you can have
But
heated
it makes
conversations. You can still have heated, productive conversations.
Right.
But I think once you get to a standstill where people stop listening, the
That
great one
happens.
is, may we take a break?
Yes.
Or do you mind if we just, you know, take a break? We could pick this, or do you mind if we pick this conversation up at a later time? Or I just need some space right now. And just being upfront and honest, I'm about to say some things that I know that I'm
Can't
going
take
to
back.
regret, or that I
Yeah.
can't take back, not know how it's going to land. I just need a few minutes, you know.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, if we're truly listening across the space, then it's what's going to be 5 minutes,
Right.
5 days,
Right.
you know. Even though it can seem that long, you just got to meet people where they're at and give them their space.
And too, then that shows how much you care about that person, you know. In a professional atmosphere, it's a little bit different, but I mean, we're more in the personal when we're talking to you guys. So if that person honors you and loves you, they're going to understand that and get your personality and understand that you need to pull back just a few and just breathe, you know. So and it also goes back to, you never know what's going on inside the person next to you. Have no idea what is happening in their life, because I know that I don't share completely. I know you don't share completely, and I know my parents don't, you know. I mean, there's just all kinds of things happening in every single person's life that one thing might trigger something, and it was that attack never was meant for you, but it triggered something. So just give everybody time to breathe.
Yeah.
And then we're going to go back to our meditation and go back to our rituals of prayer
So
and
if the
taking
morning
yourself.
ritual
Yes.
if the morning ritual didn't get you there by noon, make it your afternoon ritual as well.
Yeah, really, yeah.
Serious.
Yeah.
Do it twice a day, whatever you have to
Yes.
do to balance yourself out.
Yes, yeah. And Katie was saying, she goes, you know what I have in common with Jim? I'm like, I don't know. She goes, we take naps. But I seriously love like laying down and I know a lot of people can't do that, and I can't now so much because I drive, but I take 10 minutes and just phone off, lights off, and just sit, and I almost go into that sleeping state just to reset.
Yeah.
You know? And that's what taking a break is for a lot of times. It's just a reset.
And that can look different too. I mean, there's a lot of times that you just tell, like us, especially with patients, sometimes it's, even if it's just for the moment, right? It's like, do me a favor before you leave. Take like one deep breath. Just stop for a moment and just like, and it's even just that. Even if you don't have, we're never too busy to stop for a moment and take a really deep, just a nice deep breath.
Yeah. God, yeah. Do
All right,
anything else?
anything for them?
Breathe.
Breathe.
Breathe. Do your morning rituals, guys, your prayers, your meditation, and just start with taking care of you, because if you drive your car and you never ever maintain it, you don't put gas in it, it's going to be broken down on the side of the road, and you're not going to be able to do anything or go anywhere, and you're not going to be any good for anybody. And refueling your soul, refueling yourself, gassing yourself up in a healthy, positive way makes you valuable on so many levels for everyone else. But you have got to take care of you first, just like in the airplane, put the mask on first.
Yeah.
You know, you have to, and it's not being selfish, guys. It's not. It's you being able to be everything that you want to be for everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, we control that space, so when we make sure that we're happy, healthy, and supportive and functioning and full of love, you know, that's going to spread to everyone around.
Yeah.
So it's everybody else is typically a direct reflect of, you know, the way we're viewing the world at that moment.
Yeah.
So
And go hug somebody. Yeah.
there you go.
Just
Good
go hug
homework.
somebody.
Hug somebody.
Yeah. All right.
Take
Bye.
care. Bye.
Thank you.